7:44, special day downtown outside Georgia and Granville. Many students waving that flag loud and proud. Cindi Seddon back on the show. Good to see you.
Nice to be back.
You've been a part of this conversation for 2 decades when it comes to curbing, erasing bullying altogether. Yeah. But before we talk about how to fix the problem, how do you define bullying? Because it is very subjective for many people.
And it is, and I'm really glad you asked that, because bullying has some very specific qualities to it, traits to it. So there's 3 things I always look for. First of all, is there a power difference or imbalance between the 2 people involved, so a bully and a victim. Now, it doesn't have to be real, or we may not see it, but the victim has to perceive it and the bully has to perceive it, so a power imbalance. Secondly, the behavior is repeated, so it goes more than once. It can be in a shorter space or a longer space, but it's repeated behavior over and over again. And finally, it's intentional. I intentionally want to hurt, embarrass, put you down, exclude you. My intention is extremely clear that I want to somehow diminish you. So if those 3 things are not in place, then it's not bullying. Then it's mean behavior, or it's 2 kids getting into a dust-up, or getting into something where I can correct that as an adult and say, you know, what you did was unkind, and there's an understanding or awareness, oh, okay, well, I don't want to be unkind. So that's the difference.
Now, how do we get to the solution of all this? Because the interesting thing that happens with Pink Shirt Day is you have many people, students, teachers, parents, standing in solidarity wearing the colors.
Yes.
Maybe there's some that choose not to, and there's almost reverse bullying that happens when they say, well, you're not wearing it, what's your problem? How do we curb this altogether? What is the solution that you've seen that's worked in the Coquitlam School District where you're from?
Well, I think there's lots of things going on. I think it's important to acknowledge this issue with a day, and how we do that, whether we wear pink or green or blue. We've chosen pink, and that's a great color. And then we have to let people be exactly who they are. So if I'm not comfortable wearing pink, that's okay. And that's actually how Pink Shirt Day started, was that somebody wore pink and other kids were not happy about that. And then 2 boys, if you recall, in Canada said, hey, that's not happening in our school, and you wear pink or don't wear pink. And so you're right, it could actually sort of backfire a little bit. Where's your pink and why aren't you wearing pink? But in fact, what we want to do is recognize this is an issue. It's a worldwide issue, and on this day we're going to recognize it in this way. My problem is that tomorrow we need to recognize it too, and the next day, and in a month, and in a year, we'll revisit Pink Day, and we'll all sign on the line that we don't want to bully. And I think we have to hold that intention in our heart and remember, how do we want to be known? How do you want to be known? How do I want to be known? How do I want my kids to know me? How do I want my colleagues to know me? What qualities or traits do I want to live so that I say every day, you know what, this isn't okay with me. I'm going to choose kindness, and I'm going to be nice to people and kind to people, and I want to be known as that guy.
And there are some people with this message of choosing compassion over conflict where you can see that access, you see the impact, and it works. But how do you reach someone that doesn't want to listen to it, and there's a great deal of resistance to the message altogether?
So, and this is the way of the world. It is today, it was yesterday, it will be forevermore. It's all about relationships. The relationships we build define what people are going to think of us and believe in us. So the relationship I want to build with students I work with my family, with my friends, is a relationship of love and compassion and caring. And when I'm working with someone who maybe is not really interested in that, if I have a relationship with him or her, and I want to say, well, you know, you wouldn't treat me like that, so why would you treat that person like that? You know, you're kind to me, you're respectful with me, what's going on about that? So maybe I might have an influence on that, and that's my life work.
And to get that influence, we really need that access. And I think of all the stories we get to hear about and share here, you know, on this platform, sometimes people are just victims of circumstance where they weren't given that love, they weren't given that nurturing, and that really defines how they build a relationship. So how do we access and support them if they didn't have a strong foundation?
We be the best person that we can be. We accept them for exactly who they are. We welcome them into a different way of thinking and believing, and we really, really reinforce it when they can do it in a way that we see makes the world a better place. And it sounds extremely trite, but it really is that simple. Everybody needs heroes. Everybody needs someone to look up to. Everybody wants to copy something of someone that they have a huge and wonderful belief in. And you know what? We all, as adults, we want to be that person. The bar is held a little bit higher for us.
Well, when you talk about this sentiment of heroes, I mean, Pink Shirt Day is the hashtag, Pink Shirt Promises, hashtag erase bullying. There are plenty of messages going out there. So pinkshirtday.ca, that's the website. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about this.
Thanks for having me back.
Very important. Andrea McPherson on location throughout the morning. We'll check in with her too and keep this conversation going. We'll take a quick break.